Oh yeah, this is my video.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes, your video. So this video proves that you're
a 7-minute video. It's a 7-minute video. I mean, did he send you any timestamps?
Let me see if he sent me a timestamp. Just a second. He says that, okay, so this is in the body of the email, okay? What is your opinion of this video with Harris espousing ethno-nationalist views, saying people who riot who are ethnically Moroccan? Yeah, actually, let me just read it. We don't have to watch the video. We could just read what he said, and you could just address it.
I'll see whether he's represented me fairly or not. But because he does have a worldview, I don't think he probably understand my.
Okay, let me read it. Okay, what is your opinion of this video with Harris espousing ethno-nationalist views, saying people who riot who are ethnically Moroccan, born and raised in Belgium, should have their citizenship revoked and be deported? Do you want to address it? Do you want us to watch the video, or like at least a part of the video that you said that?
Yeah, maybe play the video as well, so people can see what he meant.
Okay. 1 second. Get back then. Wow, it's taking a while to load. Surprisingly.
Play the damn video. Play it at 1.5. I hate listening to myself, but I'll do that.
1.5?
Yeah, go 1.5.
Don't copyright strike me, though.
I will. We can both copyright each other.
I mean, Morocco won that.
Okay, no, I can hear it. Just turn it up a bit.
The whole of Muslim world, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Saudi Arabia. I don't know why these people were celebrating Morocco just because it's a Muslim country. This is how they see it. They always see everything, no matter how un-Islamic a country is. When it's Islamic versus the infidel or evil West, they would always go with their Muslim brethren. And when we tell them, why don't you go to that country? They're like, oh, no, it's not even Islamic. It's not Islamic enough for me to go there. But the evil West that they hate so much, that is Islamic enough for them to go there. Surprisingly, some people would say, yes, it is, because they have rule of law, as Islam says, even though the laws are vastly different. They have a welfare society, like Islam says, and blah, blah, blah. They're like all sorts of excuses. So they were celebrating Morocco's victory. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And then we saw this not only Moroccans in Morocco were celebrating that, but Moroccans living in Belgium were doing this. They were causing havoc. There's so many Moroccan migrants, and I looked it up, and it says something like 80,000 Moroccans live there in Belgium, and they ransacked cars. They set a couple of buildings alight. They were harassing people, beating up people. All kinds of things were happening. And I was wondering, look at these zombies. These guys were welcomed with open arms into a welfare society in a welfare country, and they were treated as their own. And this is what they started doing. I mean, shame on these people, shame on their elders, shame on their parents for raising this generation. Look at this. They turn these peaceful cities into war zones. And the only reason they're doing this, look at this, why they're doing this. If it was Morocco versus England, and then, you were celebrating that, okay. But you're celebrating against Belgium, your adopted country. For example, Pakistan, I used to be a fan of Pakistan cricket team, but even though for a very long time, now I don't care about it as much. But I would never support, even if I supported Pakistan against Australia, because they do face quite a lot. But then when Australia would beat Pakistan, or Pakistan would beat Australia, I would not damage Australia. I would not celebrate it overtly. I would not go to my Aussie friends, even though banter does work, but nothing of the sort. And to be fair, none of the Pakistanis I've actually ever seen do this in England or in Pakistan, when Pakistan defeats England or Australia. But what kind of behavior is this? I mean, I only feel for these Belgian people, and for these Germans and French and all these people. I mean, they must be thinking that, where do we go wrong? And no wonder this gives rise to the far right wing propaganda. And fair enough, they have a very strong argument. They're like, oh, is that why we invite them to our countries? Is this why? It's not just a peaceful celebration or something. Even they shouldn't even be doing that, because they're rubbing that in the faces of your adopted country's citizens. You should be on Belgium's side. But no, you're doing that to hurt them, and you're damaging public property or private property as well. So would you blame these people if people said that they should be deported back? I would say they should be identified, sent back, even if the second or third generation. They should be sent back. I understand it won't be that easy, because obviously you can't really, like the case of Shamima Begum, if she's born and raised in England, then she might not have applied for a Bangladeshi passport. So a lot of these guys, I read it was trending a couple of days ago, and I was reading some Belgian people saying that a lot of these guys are second and third generation Moroccans. Even then, after second or third generation, could be a right-wing woman, I don't know. She was basically saying assimilation doesn't work, integration doesn't work. Sweden's last prime minister said that she was left-leaning liberal prime minister. She said that we failed, integration has failed. Okay, Tamir is saying, is it fascist to say if Western liberal nations fail to learn from India's tragedy, they are bound to recreate the same tragedy in their countries? It's not fascist to say, but I think it's stupid to say because...
Okay, I think we got that part that he was referring to.
Yeah. Yeah, so I basically, I'm saying that from the far right-wing propaganda side, that this actually enables them to say that. And, integration. I actually thought about this. Not about this video. There was another video that came out of Shamima Begum, and I was thinking about it. And I thought about it, even though I have no sympathy for these kind of people. But I was thinking, which I never thought before, and I thought that if we actually did do this, let's just say, because in the UK they passed a law that if you're found involved in a terrorist activity, then you would be deported, and they apply the same law on Shamima Begum. And then they said. So then I said that, okay, well, once that happens, then there is no stopping them for saying that, okay, other violent crimes like rape and murder, let's just say that. And then I'm saying, okay, then that law would only apply on brown people or people whose ancestry could be traced back to 2 or 3 generations, that they come from, some other non-Anglo-Saxon country or non-Western countries. Then I thought, okay, well, that would clearly create a 2-tier citizenship system where people would be, where you and I would be at a disadvantage, because let's just say I do commit some sort of a crime, and then a white person commits the same crime. But I would spend my time in prison, but then after that, I would not be given a chance to say that, hey, I've paid for my crime by doing time, but I would be deported back. Whereas a white person who would have done the same crime, he would come out as a person who's done his time and now he's rehabilitated, so give him a second chance. So we will have 2 tiers of citizenship, which means a white dude would have, he would be a first-class citizen, and a brown person whose ancestry could be traced back to some other country would be a second-class citizen. So I thought that's definitely not a good thing. And I remember Joanna, who draws your art. She once sent me a message, and we were talking about Shamima Begum's incident, and then she said that she was against it, and she was against it probably for the very same reason, because I think she said that citizenship is sacred. Once you are recognized as a citizen, then you should remain like that. It should remain. So you should be punished. So, okay. So I see that it's not that easy and probably not that wise to revoke people's citizenship. So that goes against my one little comment. But again, you just focus on that one little comment. But good luck.
There's apparently he says actually I should. Yeah, go on.
Hang on a second. Let me finish my point, because my position actually evolved on that. This couple of days ago, I was actually thinking about that. So I thought, okay, the better solution would be, obviously, for whatever crime they've committed, and then you say, okay, let's say it's brutal murder or something, and then you say, well, we're gonna put you in prison for 35 years or something. Okay, well, in that case, you should never be released. But let's say some sort of a Shamima Begum kind of a crime, okay, where she wasn't overtly involved in terrorist activity, but she was an accomplice. So you say, okay, if you do come to our country, we'll try you under our own laws, and you're likely to go to prison for 15 years, okay? But we give you a choice to renounce your citizenship and then go to, some other country after serving 5 years in prison. Then I think you've actually you put the decision in their hands, because I think any person would say, well, 15 years in England or just 5 years in prison and then I'm free in Bangladesh. I think they would choose that. Coming back to this particular Moroccan thing, obviously this is terrible. So I would apply the same thing. Okay, well, you've ransacked this property, blah, blah, blah. You're going away. You're all going away for 10 years. But alternatively, you can do 2 years and then go back to Morocco or whatever other country you hold citizenship to. So I think that is a slight revision of that give them the offer, and I think that give them the offer they can't refuse. What do you think?
Okay, well, let me actually play the end part because he's saying that we should play the end part. 1 second.
Because you can't learn from India's tragedy. That was different time, different world, and a lot of the Indian Muslims are native Indians. They are Indians. These guys, they're not native Belgians or they're not native Franks or Germans. They are immigrants. What the Muslims of India are not immigrants. They are just as much Indian as probably you are. So no, it's not fascist to say that, but it's stupid to say that. Yeah, it's just a game, but no, it's not. It's not as well. Look, we do see hooliganism. There was English hooliganism last year in Euro finals. I was there in England when England lost to Italy, and some English fans were accusing this black English player who made a mistake. I think he missed a goal or something. I don't know what his name was, and they were saying that he cost us the game because he's black, and there were riots in the streets of England. So this football hooliganism is infamous, but this one doesn't make sense at all. This is like, you're Moroccan, your country has so it would have made more sense if they were angry and they were angry for Belgium. Then why did you lose to Morocco? It would have made more sense. But what makes it tragic is that you're saying, ha ha ha, I am happy that that the country of my forefathers has beaten my country in which you invited me. That's what makes it all the more sad. To help me produce more.
I don't know how it got worse or better. Do you think there's value in being native citizen than a non-native citizen? Do you think like there's a value? Like, for example, I'm a Canadian. I wasn't born in Canada. I was born in Iran. Do you think a citizen of Canada has been born in Canada and has multiple generations in Canada, that has a European look?
Same value.
Do you think they're more Canadian than me, for example?
No, it's the same value. No.
Okay. Do you think like if Iran ever plays Canada, let's say Iran's team was not representing the Islamic Republic, was actually a national team, do you think I should cheer for the Canadian team over the Iranian team?
No, you can cheer for the Iranian team.
Because the way you made it sound like you made it sound like they ought to cheer the team that
that's not what I said.
them.
No, I said I said celebrating by destroying property. Destroying property is the problem. I actually gave the example of Indians and Pakistanis and myself as well. That, I would celebrate it. There are matches between Pakistan and Australia at MCG, and Pakistani Australians are waving Pakistani flag, and it's all good. Nobody hates that. Everyone actually celebrates that.
So
Same thing happens in England as well.
So if they cheered for the Moroccan side over,
that's fine.
Morocco. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
well, it doesn't seem like you see. It seemed like you were maybe people. I got the impression. Maybe it's my fault, or I don't know. Maybe the way you explained it, it came across as if they have to be on the side of the country that has.
No. I was specifically complaining about them destroying the property and rubbing it in their faces. I said that I would have a banter with my fellow Aussie that, hey, look, Pakistani cricket team defeated you. That's fine. But I would not be destroying public property, private property in my joy of defeating the Aussies in Australia while being a Pakistani.
And were you specifically talking about the Moroccans that were doing the destruction? You weren't talking about all Moroccans there.
Of course, not all Moroccans. No, I think that again, this is.
I don't think you were being racist. You were specifically talking about.
I said there are 80,000 Moroccans who live in that, and I think after that I should have said, obviously not all of them are like that. But when I said when I showed the video, again, that's like I'm saying. All of them are like that. Obviously, in those videos, there were not all 80,000 there.
Yes.
Obviously,
I don't think. Honestly, this is the problem I have with Ibn Qayyim. Even if you say something, okay, Harris, you sometimes say some things that I disagree with, and I think no, that's not the right solution. Okay, but I don't. But Ibn Qayyim just goes from 0 to 100. Yeah, you just go all the way to bigot.
He wants to prove this point.
I don't get the impression that you're a bigot from that video. I mean, I do get an impression sometimes. Like even here, I was like, you were saying some things that I was like, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's the right solution. But but you didn't say anything that came across to me that you're just bigoted against the Moroccans. Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't think there was anything.
So basically, he says that I should not be allowed to say, and people like Ibn Qayyim are the part of the bigger problem, because when you don't call out this behavior, then you give the ammunition, you give the narrative, you give the far right wing nut jobs who are anti-immigration, you give them the control of the narrative that, hey, these people, that's what they do, so don't let any immigrants in. I'm not anti-immigration, and I can't be, because I'm an immigrant, and this guy is a son of son of immigrants. So so he just doesn't get it through his head. I don't know. He's a closet. Yeah.
I think he's
does he get this upset when George Galloway makes comments about Israel?
I think he's too trigger happy with the racism accusation. Very trigger happy with the racism accusation, and I think it's very unfair.
But again, to be honest, I don't care, because.
But
to be honest, I don't care. Look, as I said, and this is what I'm saying. You know why I don't care? It's because good luck trying to label a brown dude racist. You know, we live in very funny times.
Don't care about. I don't care about whether he's successful with labeling or not. We just want to check if it's true or not, right? And I don't think it's true. I do think that is. I think any punishment. So there is the idea of taking people's citizenship away because of, if these are citizens, right, and if they are going out and destroying property, right? I don't think there should be a two-tier punishment system.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're destroying property as somebody that comes from Morocco but is now a citizen, the punishment that you get should be equal to a punishment that another citizen, a white person would get, right?
Yeah.
So so that's why I don't think like revoking. If you can't revoke citizenship from other citizens, then this punishment shouldn't be available to.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. But as I said, there's a better solution to that. Instead of, the state should not do it. And again, this is very new to me. I just thought about it a couple of days ago, because my chain of thought got me thinking that, hang on, we have actually created first-class citizenry and second-class citizenry. That is obviously not right. But they should have an option to say that, okay, like what I said, that, okay, either do 10 years or 2 years and go back.
But is that 10 years?
Give them the
Is
command.
that 10? Would you give 10 years to
why whatever the actual is. So give him some incentive that, okay, we'll half your punishment or your prison sentence, and then go back. Something like that. But again, they might not take it, because if I go to prison to Australia for robbing a bank for 10 years, and then I come out and then I have to do 2 years and then go to Pakistan. Yeah, no, actually, I think people would. I reckon they would. I reckon that's a good solution.
Ibn Qayyim saying that's the whole point. Harris is saying that a video that second generation citizens who ethnic Moroccans should have their citizenship revoked. Okay, first of all, so this is so unfair. This is so unfair, Ibn Qayyim. He wasn't talking about just second generation citizens. First of all, I disagree with the solution, and it seems like right now he even disagrees with the solution.
I came up with a better solution.
Yeah, but even before, where he had a solution that I think was wrong, okay, he wasn't targeting ethnic Moroccans. He was specifically targeting people who were responsible for destruction of property. Like, he wasn't targeting them because they were Moroccan. He was targeting them because of property destruction. Specific people within that community, not all of them. This is such an unfair interpretation of what he was saying. Again, I say that as somebody who disagrees. I don't think citizenship should be revoked at all. I think citizenship, once you have a citizen, you don't want to create a two-tier system where some people could lose their citizenship and some people can't. So that is not a good solution. But I would, if somebody comes up with that solution, I wouldn't just automatically go on to racism. He's saying no, he wasn't. If they were ethnically Belgian, they would not suffer the same punishment.
Why? Okay? This is why I said
that's why he's changing it.
Exactly.
Actually, this is proof to me that he's not a racist. Okay, because this is the reason. This is when he considered that. That's what he's realized, that this is not a good solution. So
yes,
he's like, okay,
if
you're right.
I was a racist, if I was this guy again, he just wants to prove his point of view. And that's a very good point, because that proves that I'm not racist. I'm constantly evaluating my positions, and then thought came to me independently, because I was looking at Shamima Begum's. I was thinking about Shamima Begum's news story. There was an update a couple of weeks ago or something, and then I read that a couple of days ago. And then that thought came to me independently, and I was like, yeah, that would create two-tier citizenship. So there would be one set of standards for white Belgians or French or whatever, and then there'll be another one for even a second or third generation citizen. So it shouldn't even matter like first generation. So no, I changed my
So
position
look at
on
this
that.
comment. Look at this comment. This is actually my proof that Ibn Kalam is so unfair. Okay, so it's like, yes, after he considered it, I was basing it based on what was in the video. Right. So imagine this. There was two. So you were considering if the fact that there would be a two-tier punishment system based on people's ethnicities, right? And you thought that was racist, right? And he's like, oh, he hadn't considered it, and now he considered it. So there was two explanations for why maybe Harris came up with that answer. One, he's a racist. Two, he hadn't considered that this would create a two-tier system based on ethnicity. Okay? And you went so uncharitably with their racism explanation, even though the other explanation was also available. That is very uncharitable by you, Ibn Kalam.
And that shows, Ibn Qayyum, that you just want to prove your point. That's what you're interested in. That video of Nuria and I, you could challenge that. You could say that these are bad positions. But for you to actually jump on and say he's racist, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, it was a bad position, which again, I independently revisited my position. I had never thought about it as much. But I did, and again, I have no sympathy for these people, though. I would still despise this. I would still. Okay, no, listen. Okay,
yeah.
Okay. No, yeah, no, maybe no. This is good. Maybe you can challenge me on that. Because yeah, I still despise those people who would go to their adopted country and they would be so ungrateful. I would still despise them because I am an immigrant and I'm so grateful. So, based on that sentiment, I could probably miscalculate a little bit, and this is probably the reason why I was Shamima Begum. I was like, yeah. I did once question my position on Shamima Begum as well, only because she was a 16-year-old woman when she did that. So I thought, yeah, look, she should be tried as a juvenile for making a mistake, because people can make mistakes in the earlier days. But I think
want
this
to bring
one,
Ibn Kalam up, or
no, fuck him.
Okay,
Screw
so
him. He's a dickhead.
we will. Ibn Kalam, I bring you up once Harris leaves, because you're a YouTube member. I do have to bring you up if you want to. By the way, I did provide the link for YouTube members if they want to come up, and Ibn Kalam is here. But because Harris doesn't want to talk to you, I will wait for him to leave, and then we'll continue.
He called me a piece of shit. Started yelling at me.
To have your questions answered on the next live stream, become my patron today. You can do so with as little as $1 a month. Link in the description below.